All right, let's go out to Raleigh, North Carolina, and talk to Dan, the man. What's up, Dan?
Hey, how are you, sir?
Outstanding, brother. Outstanding. So, man, what's happening?
So, again, let me preface this by saying I know I'm not the good guy here. I'm just trying to, figure out how to get my life back.
Cool. Tell me what happened, man.
So, about a year ago, I entered into an affair with someone at work.
Okay.
And blindsided my wife and moved in with another woman. And for this last year, we've had our ups and downs. We've had some communication issues and a lot going on. Now, well, I guess not now, but ultimately, she had a child who was just over a year old, and I raised this child like my own. And the father was in the picture. He's a good dad. He's there. But it's caused some issues in the fact that around Christmas time, we decided that we wanted to do one Christmas because I saw how having two separate Thanksgivings, it devastated the mom. And ultimately, he never left. He sort of just moved in, and then we made it official. So it was me, I guess my girlfriend, and the father of her child under one roof, along with the toddler. And there was always, some friction there. Again, he was a nice guy, but it was just a very weird dynamic.
You think?
Yes.
There had to have been a point when you were thinking, like, just sitting on the toilet, just scrolling Instagram. You were like, "This probably is not a great idea."
Yeah, well, I'm not big into social media. I stay away from that.
Well, good God Almighty, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, at some point, you were like, "This is a terrible idea." So, was your wife? I'm sorry, was your girlfriend? I mean, were y'all like a throuple? Were y'all all in this together, or was she dating two guys? Or
she was just dating me. But
no way! Of course, she hooked back up with him.
No. It was very weird, but it wasn't like that. He had a lot of debt, and he didn't have anywhere else to go really, and she didn't want to take time away from him with this child, or at least that was her thought process.
There was no thinking going on at all. But okay, so bring me to now.
Yeah.
So let me just recap. So you're married. How long were you married?
It was going to be 8 years in August of last year.
So at 7 years, you bailed and moved in with somebody that at work. So you met somebody at work. You fell in love. She was your girlfriend. You moved out on your wife. Just blindsided your wife. Moved out. Did you divorce your wife, or did you all just get separated?
We are currently separated.
Oh, so you're not officially divorced?
Yeah, correct.
Why hasn't she filed on you or you on her?
Well, we're doing a simple divorce. So we've been a year apart, and then it should be a pretty simple process for that because no one's trying to get anything from anyone.
Oh, I forgot. North Carolina's got some of the stupidest rules when it comes to that crap. So then you move in with this woman and you have normal relationship issues and probably some good times and probably some what in the world times. And she's got a 1-year-old. And then at Thanksgiving, there's 2 different Thanksgivings. And then y'all were like, let's don't do that at Christmas. And so baby daddy comes to stay for Christmas and then just like moves in.
Yes. And
Jerry. All right. So then what?
That obviously, cuts down on the intimacy factor.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Believe it or not.
No way.
And, I feel like I have done everything I possibly could to make it work. I basically changed, everything I didn't do before. I tried to emphasize me doing, and it was an extremely rewarding experience. But every day I woke up, I knew that if I had tried that hard with my wife, I wouldn't be in that position.
Why'd you leave your wife?
Well, at the time, and I say this at the time because I have, hindsight of me just being a moron.
Why'd you leave your wife?
She said, she wasn't sure she was really a believer anymore.
Okay.
And she said she was. Then she wasn't really sure if she wanted to have kids anymore.
Okay.
But that's what I told myself at the time. But it was really, I didn't feel like I mattered. She was locked in. Oh, sorry.
You're all right, man. You're all right. Just take a breath. Talk directly into your phone for me. I want to make sure we get all this.
She was, locked in. She had it together. We had a good life. I just didn't feel like I mattered. It didn't matter if it was there or not. I knew she had it. She's 1,000 times smarter than me, by the way, obviously.
So
that's what I told myself.
So this happens over time, and the whole time, or at some point during this time, there's a coworker that's hilarious, kind of pretty at first, and gets more pretty over time, and
like you wouldn't believe.
Do what?
Like you wouldn't believe, John.
Yeah, laughs at your jokes. Puts her hand on your shoulder when she's telling you a funny thing, or on your forearm, just little gentle things like that. And you suddenly, for the first time in a long time, feel that terrifying feeling of alive again.
Yes, sir.
And then you can look back at your home life and come up with any number of reasons why this is the right thing and what you've been doing for the last 7 or 8 years is the wrong thing.
Yes. Yes.
So you've burned through a year. You know that's a mess.
Yeah.
And now what?
So a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, she asked me. My girlfriend texted me, "Hey, do you want to meet at a place, Cary? It's a local town over here." And I say, sure. And I go over there, and we go into the Whole Foods to get some snacks. It's not unusual for her to do this kind of thing where we just have a little picnic. And we go over, because they have a little play area where kids can play. She takes me over there, and she says, I can't do this because our lease was coming up. It's expiring. So I can't move to a new home with you. I can't live with 2 men I'm not married to anymore, and I can't take time away from the father of my child. Like, I can't take time away from him and his son. So that's
So you got dumped.
I got dumped,
yeah.
And in a split second, I lost everything I had.
Yeah.
And was blindsided. And obviously there's some kind of larger humor here where everything I did to someone.
Yeah. I think Alanis Morissette sang about that, right?
Yeah. And
so how can I help you right now, man? I know you're hurting, man.
I woke up the next day at a rest home. Not a rest home, like a rest area. I'm not that old. Rest area. And I've never felt more alone in my life. Mm-hmm. Not a single time. And I just didn't know what to do. So I texted my wife. I was like, hey, here's what happened. You can track me now on Google Maps. Just keep an eye on me if you don't mind. And then I asked if she wanted to just meet up to talk later, and she said sure. She responded immediately, and she was, since that, she's just been an absolute rock for me again. And I don't know what to do. I just want my life back. Whatever that looks like. I want to be okay.
I think you can be okay. The life you had is over. And the longer you try to pretend the last year didn't happen, the longer you try to avoid the fact that you ripped some woman's heart out, the longer you try to not feel the fact that your heart just got ripped out, that's a recipe for disaster down the road. It's grief, it's heartache, it's shame, it's all of that. And if you try to run past this and try to end around this thing, it will haunt you physiologically. This is not just woo-woo, this is neuroscience. It will haunt you. There is no going back. The beautiful thing is you can build something else.
I think when, a year ago, I sort of just buried myself in my work and, poured myself into my girlfriend and this child. And, I don't want to bury anything this time.
Good. But this is just me, and you're a grown up and your wife's a grown up. I'm talking to you as though you're one of my close buddies. I would tell you you don't get to just run back to her and say, my bad. Now, she may love you forever and be willing to take you right back and all that. I don't even know if that's what you're asking. But I think you're going to be responsible for, I think you're going to be responsible for a couple different things. Number one, you've got to be responsible for your healing. And of course, you're worthy of being loved. But right now, you may not be worthy of dating or being married to. And you may have a lot of work to do on becoming marriage material, becoming romantically involved material. That's nothing to do with your lovability and your intrinsic worth as a person. Do you see the difference there?
Yeah.
If your wife was my close friend, I would tell her to be very, very careful with you. Because you just had your heart broken and you're vulnerable.
Absolutely. And even looking back to a couple weeks ago, I just feel like it was so selfish of me to contact her at all.
No, it was, but it's selfish I guess it's technically selfish if you're drowning to scream at somebody, in the lifeguard stand and say, help me. I guess that's inherently selfish because I don't want to drown, but That's the right thing to do. I think that's a good signal to you that you've got to be about the business of making friends and getting some community in your life and getting some accountability and some men in your life that you trust that can speak into your life. And not possibly, 100% before the day's over, calling and getting a counselor or a therapist in your community. And I know there's some great ones in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, a dear friend of mine that spoke to my wedding, who's a pastor, I called him too, and I met with him last week, and I'm meeting with him in a few hours today. So
okay, but listen, he doesn't get to be your therapist; he gets to be your friend.
Yeah,
he gets to refer you, and you have to be very intentional about asking him. I need referrals to professionals because I need you as my friend. What does that mean? He needs to hold the right to call you really stupid. Like what you're doing is dumb, or what you're doing isn't healthy, or get off the couch, we're going running, or whatever. We're going to the gym right now. He needs to preserve that, and you need to go do hard therapy with a professional therapist. And there's a powerful difference. Okay?
Yeah.
And you've got to hear me. There is no going back. You don't get your old life back. It's over. It's over. The mission before you is, what are you going to build? What are you going to build next? What are you going to build moving forward? And it's going to take a long time. That's not something to be scared of. In fact, it's the opposite. It's something to settle into. It's going to be a bunch of tiny decisions that you make every single day. They're going to start to create new habits. They're going to start to create new ways you see the world and experience the world and think about the world, and the world thinks and experiences you. And then you're going to make some major changes. And I think if you haven't already, I think there's something very important, not for something back, not for an ROI, but you may have gotten a glimpse now. And I only think it's a glimpse because you were playing house with somebody for a year, and also with her other boyfriend who she had a kid by, that whole weird thing. You got a glimpse of the pain your wife experienced. Just a glimpse. But I think there's something about getting down on your knees in front of her and saying how gut-wrenchingly sorry you are. And maybe this divorce continues on. Maybe y'all find reconciliation down the road. That's not a today conversation. The today conversation is, I need to take a knee before the woman I promised my life to and let her know, I hurt you so bad and I'm sorry. And my mission in life is to become a man that will never hurt somebody like that ever, ever, ever again, myself included. I think you can do that. I wouldn't do this show if I didn't believe in that sort of restoration, but it's going to be tough. You're going to have to be very vulnerable and very honest. And most importantly, you're going to have to do stuff you've never done before in terms of telling the truth and letting your needs be heard. And this isn't the place for, I'm not going to beat you up on this show. I know you're hurting bad right now. I know you're hurting bad. Don't give up on you, man. We'll be with you every step of the way. Hang on the line, and I'm going to send you a copy of Own Your Past, Change Your Future. Stay on the line, Jenna. We'll send that to you. Just my treat. If I can help you anyway, brother, holler at me, okay? But today, when you go talk to your buddy, say, I need you to be my friend moving forward. I need some references because I got some hard work I got to do ahead. And then call that wife of yours and sit down and take a knee and say, I'm sorry. That level of vulnerability, that's the soil that we'll start planting new seeds in.